finally made it, ladies and gentlemen. It has been so as I said to him off the air, it's just like, my computer's gotten old and decrepit and cranky and ready to die a horrible, horrible death. Right? I have to intimidate with fear a lot more, Joe. I really, really do.
Well, whatever works to get it to work, I guess.
You will do this now or not, See, my dad got to a point. My dad got to a point with one of his computers. He got this is when he finally really made it hit success. He got pissed off at one computer. He legitimately chucked it from the second story to the ground. He could afford to do that.
That's fantastic. That's a luxury that I have not yet experienced. That I can't wait to experience. Actually, I've chucked a TV before, but not computer.
Well, TVs are a little different because they're a luxury anyway. Like if you really sit there and think about it, computer you actually need. But if you find one like he just got to the point he got so frustrated that he just said fuck this thing and he just chucked it. And no, but I think okay. So the original Batman movie, I think my favorite scene in that whole damn thing is Joker shooting the TV. Like honest to God, it is one of the funniest. Like Jack Nicholson just shooting, and it's just like that is a sign you are obscenely rich. Where you're not, you didn't just smash it with your bare. No, you took a gun and you shot and you shot it. It's just like, wow, you're rich. Yeah. So I mean, you know why I brought you here. A lot of people still haven't heard the word yet because I haven't officially announced it via social media. Yeah, the show is changing directions. When I break 1,000, at some point in the 1,000 mark, I'm changing directions. You
gotta keep us guessing as to which episode that might be. Then
a little. Well, in a perfect world, it would be 1,001. But I also realize that it's not necessarily a perfect world either. Right. The one thing being a freelancer has taught me is that you just go with the ups and the downs. And the fact of the matter is it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. And so I can't have a definitive, but I am doing stuff already to kind of get the ball rolling. I'm kind of doing my first little experiment with it next weekend. Right.
Oh, cool.
I'm just going to be, it'll be cool. It's going to be not quite a live show anymore, which I'm both good. I'm happy and sad about. Right. I'm still going to BS on my own show.
It's kind of a combination of your old podcast with your new podcast, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be except a little bit more like a travel log kind of deal. It's going to be a lot more travel log-ishly. There might be episodes of the podcast where I'm just doing crazy shit. I don't know yet. I haven't thought this all completely through. But
that's what works best for you. So
yeah. I haven't thought it completely through. I thought it partially through. When I think the most important thing. So I'm in Calgary, right?
Yeah.
I've been there for nearly a year, and one of the things that's been really interesting about coming back this time is it has been damn near impossible. Like a lot of people just have not reconnected.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, and I was hoping for that because there was a big part of me that was like going, after everything that we've all been through. I think one of the most important things we can do is say, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And I say that with all sincerity, but I also realize, and I also screwed up. This is episode 905, not 904. So hold on a second here. Let's see if I can do this as I go because I am such a smart.
You can fix it.
Yep. It's 905. Yeah. There we go. Fixed. It's all fixed. It's just one of those things I realize that we've time is a precious thing. And we should take advantage of the fact that we have this ability to get together, and we should do it in the time we have, because you never know. One day, tomorrow, next day, it may not happen again. But I don't think everybody's on that wavelength yet, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, I think people got shut in, and they kind of stayed shut in for a little bit longer than they even expected to, and it kind of, I don't know, you get comfortable. People tend to gravitate towards comfort a lot, and once you get comfortable, it's kind of hard to break that pattern. And we're all guilty of it. We've all experienced it, but I just don't. I don't know if there's that adventurous spirit because people are just so uncertain about what our world's doing and how it's going.
Well, but that's why you need to be adventurous now. See,
Right? Yeah.
that's
I
why
mean,
you need to be, because you don't necessarily you're not gonna have this opportunity down the road, at least
yeah,
the same way. It's just not gonna happen.
yeah,
And I don't know what it's gonna look like. Um, I'm not gonna necessarily promise I'm gonna play by the rules either whatever it looks like. But what I will say is I like we especially in Calgary, I think the one thing I don't think I talked to this with Tony Phillips not too long ago, and I said this to him, it's like, I don't think the city of Calgary realizes what they had in it with the community,
mm,
and it's gonna be interesting because I made the decision I'm gonna try to actually make this year's Windward's Collide. I was torn on that because I've got my own little crazy adventures versus everything, but
hmm,
what I realize is this is probably going to be my last chance to see a lot of these people. It's going to be my last chance, and I think I
yeah,
don't I don't think people realize how important Randy McCharles is to the community here. I don't think they
yeah,
really realize that, and he's rightfully wants to do other things with his life,
yeah.
and I don't blame him for that, but yeah, that's a void, and it's gonna
That's
be a
that certainly is the microcosm of what you're talking about, though. I mean, the steamrolling engine that was when words collide really was dependent on people being there and feeling that energy. And then when the decision was made to do it online the first time, that was understandable. But the next few times, it's just started to feel like the same thing, and not everybody was into it. Not a lot of people who were regularly there participated, and when
oh,
they did participate, it was nominal at best, myself included in that respect. Uh, and because you move on and you do other things, but that whole engine lost a lot of steam, and you know blame Randy for that, but Randy did everything he could to keep this thing alive, and it just and ultimately everything has its end,
yeah.
and he's riding off into the sunset, and he's gonna do some amazing things beyond that.
Oh,
And
you
I'm
know,
no doubt he'll pop up again and have something else creative that we can all gravitate toward. But
but
yeah,
yeah, no, and that's just like that's kind of why like that's the decision basis. Now, if I don't see very many people there, I don't know. Like it's weird. Like,
yeah,
I ran into Neil Enoch today. I ran into him at a coffee shop by accident, so we actually got a chance to catch up. And he's he's his own cat, and I kind of respect that. And we just chatted. We actually hung out, and it's kind of cool. But that's what I came back for was stuff like not even big things. It's those little things.
yeah. You
And
can run into somebody randomly, and you know them, and you can reconnect a little bit.
yeah, and because again, this is it. Like I and but that's partly why I made the decision,
That was a big thing for me at the last live one, being able to connect to people and just sit down with them and talk, and it was important, people that I don't normally get to sit down and talk to, and because we're different circles or different lives and everything like that. But that really felt. And the cool thing about When Words Collide is I've always met new people too, and we've
Yeah.
connected, and we hang out toward the end of Tony being the last one. At the last one, getting to connect with Tony was a real blessing, and you know, so that happens too. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't like I said, anybody in Calgary that's listening to this, you really should connect to some of these people again
Mm,
while you can. Because if you don't, right, you're like it may not be today, but somewhere
yeah,
down the road you're gonna realize what you had,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you don't like I don't like I've traveled a lot of places. There's very little like this community, and I don't think they realize how special it really is.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I would agree. I connected to a lot of people there, and It's there's so much going on in there, beyond when words collide. There's other things happening, and they have all these great writing communities. All these groups that are from there. Calgary horror writers, Calgary crime writers, all those, romance writers. They have their own chapters of all of those things, and those are very active, from what I gather from people that I know who are in those. And so, I mean, that's not like in the United States, those things are so spread apart, like, and you might be active for like 3 months, and then you kind of like go, well, I'm going back to the same thing over and over again. And
St-
and, and you
there
just
is there is one like this in the States, and that's the Superstars Writing Seminar, and it usually takes place February of 20, like usually in February or March of the year. I've debated about going to that one. I
Mm.
haven't yet because I know at least one person there that would not want me there.
Okay. I've
Yeah,
never even heard of this, so this is new
yeah.
to
It's
me.
it's located in like the Utah. I think it's Utah.
Oh, okay.
State of Superstars
I think
Writing.
I have heard of this one then.
Yeah, Jim Butcher goes there.
Mhm.
Some pretty big names are regulars there, and Mark Leslie goes to that one on a regular basis too. And it's like it sounds a lot like when it's different, but it also
Mhm.
sounds like when words collide. So I've thought prior to the pandemic, I thought of taking a visit, but I also know if I take a visit, right, I know at least one individual that would be very uncomfortable would be there. It might be worth it just for that alone. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little part of me. There's a little part of me I will get
You're so
pleasure in
funny.
that. I am that asshole. I'm
Yeah,
honest.
no, no, it's true.
Yeah, I am that asshole. But but it's
But
also just because
it's why we love you though too. So that's
yeah.
the endearing part of it.
Well,
So
well, see, the thing is, I realize why I get away with so much shit. Like honestly, I figured this out. It's because I'm so honest about it.
yeah.
I don't try to hide it. There's no like master plan here. This is me chasing cars. I'm like right, this is me chasing cars. You can enjoy the ride or not, and
Yeah.
either way, I'm gonna do it anyway. So
Yeah.
you really got a choice. You can either approve or disapprove. And if you approve, great. And if you don't, I don't care. I'm still
Yeah.
doing it. So, but there's a certain level of respect with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Even if you disagree with me outright, you're like, okay, I can at
Yeah.
least admire the fact that he is true to himself. That I can
Yeah.
respect that. So I get away with shit,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, I mean, and you don't shy away. You're not afraid of that. You're not there's no fear with that with you, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people gravitate toward too is like, oh, this guy, you're kind of the guy that would go, oh, this guy will do it. Let's get Josh to do it. Yeah, sure.
yeah, oh, there's that. But again, it's also just I mean, in light of the last few years, I've learned, yeah, you learn where you're willing to stand, you learn
Yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah,
I'm a big enough man to let everybody do their thing, but I'm
yeah,
also going to do my thing. And I
yeah.
think people respect that. Right. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's the thing. So I'm thinking about doing that. Um, and like I said, the second half of the year, I expect I'll be all over the place.
Mm,
I might bug you in San Jose. I think that's where you're at,
yeah.
right? I might bug you in San Jose. Like I like California with the exception of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is oh,
Yeah.
the rest of California is fine, but
Yeah.
Los Angeles is
I'm
just
right
like
there with
oh
you. Yeah.
yeah.
Having grown up there, I know exactly what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people really love that city.
Yeah.
I'm not one. I'm not one of
Yeah.
them.
I
I don't
just
know.
yeah, it's not for me. The hustle and bustle. There's just too much disconnection there. I mean, I'm such a different person than when I grew up there too. So it's like it's not even remotely close to, you know, me even thinking about that's a nice place to go. So
Oh, I made that mistake a long time ago, and that was a mistake. I should have gone to Denver. I should have gone to Denver. But so here's the thing. Once upon a time, I was still with my dad. I was moving to Phoenix, and I had a choice. I could go either from Denver to Phoenix, right, or I could go from LA to Phoenix. Thinking,
Mhm.
yeah, whatever. But you always hear great things about LA in a distance. Now, you always do, right?
I mean,
Everybody
it's an
likes.
interesting place to visit. Let's put it that way. But
Oh, yeah, so I'll tell you where I ended up visiting. You'll know this, and you're going to be like, "Oh, why?"
yeah,
See, I this is me being a foolish Canadian back in the days when Greyhound was up here, thinking that the Greyhounds up here and the Greyhounds down there are the same. They are not, folks.
yeah,
They are legitimately not.
yeah.
To the point that my cab driver, by the way, the cab in LA, here's the other thing, the cab to the Greyhound was more expensive than my flight and the bus.
Yeah.
Just it just this gives you, so guys, this will give you an idea what LA was like. So for me, so like that part blew my mind.
Yeah,
The other part of, so yeah, 1,000 miles plane cost this much.
yeah.
A few hundred miles by bus cost this much. That 20-mile stretch cost more than both of those. So, but here's the thing: when you get there, the cab driver warns, don't take cars straight. Like stuff I would hear in Detroit, and you would look out there. I looked out and saw the people there, and I was like, I'm in the wrong neighborhood. I can't leave the station, and I knew I couldn't leave the station. This is one of those like I can't leave. Goddamn. And
Yeah,
by the way, there was a wonderful gentleman that was going to person, showing his collection of gold. You're right. The cool
yeah.
thing about that is no tax. Like that's the one thing about that neighborhood, those kinds of areas. You don't have to worry about taxes there. It's just yours. But yeah, so that was my LA experience, and I was like, I don't think I ever want to go back here.
Yeah,
San Diego was fun. San Jose was fun. San Francisco, as weird as that city is in some ways,
yeah.
but LA, no, I can't. I can't. Well, okay, maybe I could, but you got to pay me. I'm a whore. I mean, you got to pay. You got to
You
pay
gotta
me
be
to go.
downtown. Yes, outskirts though. There's a lot of really wonderful places out there. I mean,
Oh, sure.
you got to go. You got to do the Hollywood thing at least once if you're gonna go out there. You got to do the Disneyland thing if you're gonna go out there. There's a lot of places within the LA County that are considered
The-
mostly times LA, even though they're mostly Orange County or somewhere
well, no,
else.
no, no. The county is different. The county
Yeah,
is different. I will
yeah,
say that the county is different. Yeah, but the city itself, no. I mean,
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
just I did this the last time I went to LA because I was in Costa Mesa for I was doing red carpet for an award show there, and I drove, and so when I drove back, I took the long way, which is going up PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, which goes all the way into Canada, almost pretty close.
Yep.
And and that stretch along the beach line there, I mean, while it is trying at times because there's a lot of stop signs and people walking across the road and with their surfboards and everything like that, it's a beautiful, beautiful drive. And it's just one of those things that people from LA know about that tourists don't know about. So it's kind of like just this nice serene thing. I had a radio playing and I just drove and smelled the ocean air and enjoyed the air, and that is an experience that you don't get anywhere else. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe Hawaii, but I've never been to Hawaii, so I can't tell you that. And I'll tell you if Puerto Rico is the same here coming up. But
Nice.
but
Going with JD?
otherwise, yeah, I'm going to the Comic Con in April. I've been promising for a while now, so it's the reason why I'm not in Utah right now. Is well, I wouldn't be in Utah right now anyway, but I'd be close to be going to Utah for Slam Dance in Park City and Sundance, but I'm not going there this year because I'm saving my money to go to Puerto Rico. So that's
Yes. And like I said, that sounds like a cool adventure. It's something I kind of like.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm learning. I'm teaching myself Spanish. I won't be fluent by the time I get there, but I'll have enough. I was telling JD today, I'll have enough conversational skills that I won't look like a complete moron and idiot and a stupid American by going there and not speaking Spanish.
So,
So
so what you need to do is you need to have the people there teach you how to swear. You make friends very fast. You will make
Yeah,
friends
JD said
very.
JD said he'd take care of me. He'd make sure that he'd be by my side when I'm speaking Spanish to
Oh no,
somebody.
yeah, but I'm just saying, if you go in with a playful attitude, like there's
Yeah.
two things that are universal. We all like good food, and we all like teaching the dirty words to everybody. It's true. It's like
True.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true, right? So if you
Yeah.
if you come in and you're trying, they're gonna respect that to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like, hey Mac, can you tell me that like how you tell someone to fuck off? They'd be like, sure, I'll tell you that. And they might even do a fun little demonstration for you, and
Yeah,
that right? And that could be a wonderful experience, and you'll make a buddy, and you'll make a
yeah,
friends, right? How to make friends and influence people. You figure
yeah.
out how to make what you have
Learn the
fun.
swear words.
No, it's true. Any
It is.
universal
No, you're right. I mean, I remember going to Japan, and that was, meeting, like certain soldiers had Japanese girlfriends, and that's the first thing they ask you is, "Do you wanna learn how to say, fuck in Japanese?" And you say, "Sure, why not?" You
exactly,
know?
exactly. Like, that's the wonderful how do you say fucking Japanese anyway?
I don't remember. Yeah, I haven't spoken Japanese in almost 20 years, so I don't remember.
I can swear in French, Spanish, Maltese, Israeli, Arabic, right? I can swear in those
Um,
languages. Vietnamese, I can swear in that one too. I still remember the swear words because the thing is, okay, now here's the thing: Malta, Israel, and so there's a particular curse that I can use in Maltese, and it's universal across the other Arabic languages, and it means the exact same thing.
nice.
And it's wonderful. So because here's how you do that. So you go, hey, when I say this, does that mean what I think it means? And sometimes you'll just see the look on their face. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. Especially in those countries where it's probably a little bit more perverse to curse a little bit more.
No, well, no, it's just it's see, the thing I love about Arabic nations is they don't actually give a shit. They
Yeah.
gloriously do not give a shit. And because they've been around forever, like they're one some of the oldest cultures in the world. They've been around forever. They've seen it all, done it all. They're like, okay, listen, are you gonna let me do my thing? Yeah, cool. I'll tell you like a fun little. There's a Lebanese barbershop in Calgary, so look, I'm giving away these vapes as a freelance little gig I'm doing, and comes in. He's like, "Hey, buddy, do you wanna like give me some more vapes?" I says, "Well, I'll tell you what you got to do. You got to get me some phone numbers, and you got to get me some emails. As long as they're different, we can figure something out."
That's fun.
So right, right. See, again, I don't give a shit. Again, my culture, I don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. We all get what we want because they're going to do my job for me anyway. They're going to give these things out to their buddies,
Yeah.
and I don't care. Right, right. I would rather it be out where people will likely to try buying this stuff. I mean, that barbershop loves me. That barbershop loves.
I bet.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's it, right? And
Yeah.
folks, if you're going to say, well, that's kind of this is how the world works.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how much of this goes on.
Yeah.
Right, right. It goes on a lot. It's just one of those things where you got to realize what you're doing. Right? They're not gonna. There are lines you don't cross,
Yeah.
but oh my gosh,
Yeah, as long
right?
as you do it with a modicum of respect, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Don't don't spout off and do something stupid that you normally
Well,
wouldn't do out of character anyway.
yeah. Well, or again, my personality being what it is. Hey, I'm gonna do this crazy shit. They're gonna be like, yeah, okay. And then they
Yeah,
see you do it, and then they see you do it, and they're like, "Oh, wow."
the one thing I will say about that, Josh, that's interesting to me is that you do it with a grace that is I won't say professional, but it is respectful in a lot of ways. You're a very respectful guy. You do respect space. You respect opinions. You may disagree. But you listen to them, and you do have those conversations. And so and you do get lively. I've seen you get lively, but it's always with the tone that is never vicious and never vile. There's certain things that you see on TV, especially in America, where you're plastered with it 24/7 almost, where it's just people yelling at each other just to yell at each other. There's no validity to it. It's just vile hatreds being spewed, and really they don't understand why they're doing it, and they think it's for ratings, they think it's for this reason or that reason, but honestly it's a release that they don't know how to channel and do it, use it correctly. But you're grounded enough to know how to use that correctly, and that is, I think, more of your superpower than, that's why you get away with stuff. You have one of those faces too, but you do get away with stuff because you are respectful of that. You do understand that, and you do listen. You 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 do take criticism. You do take advice, and you're very you're. And I think all of that matters when it comes to when you're trying to do whatever you want to do. You know.
The important okay, this is for everybody listening. The important thing you need to understand is essentially everybody wants the same thing at the end of the day, and that is to be left alone to do their thing, whatever
Mm,
that is. Whatever that. And everybody it's a little different,
mhm.
but that's what people really want. Like it's not complicated. So give people that I I've made this very conscious with my show for all throughout the years. I've had people like we've had disagreements.
Yeah.
My conversation with Jin, for example, is one of those ones where there are things I do agree with him on, and there are things I don't.
Yeah.
We had a discussion, a discourse,
Yeah.
right? I gave him the freedom to be himself.
Yeah.
I didn't judge him. That's the important thing is you must listen to people. You must detach from all outcomes,
Yeah.
including your own. You gotta take your emotion out of it. You gotta and you gotta realize that people. This is everybody. You and I may disagree on some things,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I realize that you have your own experiences. This is may have what worked for you,
Yeah.
and your ideas are as valid as mine in a lot
Yeah.
of places, right?
Yeah.
That might be better in some.
Yeah.
Right? They might be better. I'm willing to detach from the outcome that I am absolutely 100% right on everything, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds simple,
Yeah.
right? But it, I, the pandemic taught me, and I'm not going to go into like, what side are you on, blah, blah. I don't care
Right.
about that. What, right? But the pandemic taught me was people have this idea. If I use a magic word, if I use the word, say it like vaccine, it creates a idea in people's head of what that is and how that works.
Sure.
Whether or not it does or doesn't is irrelevant. The
Sure.
reality is this is the connotation people have. And my idea and your idea might be different.
Yeah.
Then again, they might be the same.
Yeah.
Might be or right, or we might be coming from two very real concerns. And
Yeah.
right, and the thing
Yeah.
is, right, the thing is, in that situation, now let's say again, let's if you were against the vaccine, it'd be like, well, you're an anti-vax. No, not necessarily. And if you're pro-vaccine, it's like, well, you're a sheeple. No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? It's we all have our own opinions and beliefs of what we think is right. And the important thing, honestly, is to just listen to somebody and give them that minute
Mhm.
just to feel that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I think also along the lines of everybody just wants to be left alone, I think there's a certain kind of, I don't, arrogance might be the wrong word, but there's a certain idea that if you have a strong opinion and you can turn somebody toward your opinion, that's like winning the World Cup, and I think there's people who do that strong arm and yell and scream and do that just simply so that they could get that one person that they think they can turn over to their side. and you did the term, you catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar kind of idea. It doesn't play true with that kind of mentality, because it's you're just there's just so many people out there spitting just vile
Mhm.
hatred and venom, and they're not realizing that if they just sat down and had a rational conversation. I always tell people, where I stand religiously doesn't matter, because I have the best conversations with people who are considered the most religious people on the planet, because they have some kind of understanding that what they believe is what they believe. It's not the people that are pushing beliefs on people are not those people. They're the ones that are listening to you and giving you an opportunity to tell them how you feel. And I think you have a little bit of that with what you do here, and it's very powerful,
Yeah.
because because people gravitate to that. That's you just sometimes you just want to be heard, you
Yeah,
know.
that's it.
You know.
You wanna be heard and you wanna be understood.
Mhm.
You don't have to be liked, you don't but people wanna be heard and people wanna be understood.
But I do feel like there is a certain percentage of people beyond that who want to be the one person that changes somebody's mind.
There
And
it's so this is so I got 2 new rules out of the pandemic. One's way more fun. We'll get to this, but I came up with 2 new rules. The first is to
okay.
detach from all outcomes.
Mm,
And the reason I say it like this for this, and I always say this to people like this. It's idea. We don't buy facts, we buy ideas.
yeah,
Everyone. The more attached you are to an idea, the more an attack on that idea will feel like an attack on you,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, people that strongly hold to their ideas or ideals, it's cool to have a stand. It is
yeah,
really cool to have a stand. But you gotta understand that too, that those ideas you have or those facts you think you have or don't have, right?
yeah,
They hold you in place to that ideal or idea. And if someone can come along and give you a different take on that idea, it's not an attack on you, but you gotta be willing to detach from that idea. Ironically, the best way to change somebody's mind is also being willing to change your mind as well.
yeah,
And if you don't
yeah,
have that, you're done. You're just being a bully.
yeah,
And I detach from all outcomes. The other thing too is when I do this, let's say my belief is wrong. I screw up all the time, dude. It's life, right? But the thing is, if I'm wrong and I can detach myself from the outcome that I ain't going to be 100% right all the time, it's easier for me to pivot to something new. Whereas if someone clings to this idea of, well, this is how we have to do it, or this is how, what tends to happen there is people have this tendency then to stick to something, and there's another word for that. That's insanity, right? Right.
yeah, yeah,
But we our I that's the thing. That's the thing we gotta understand about our it's cool to have a stand on you have to take stands on things. We all
yeah,
do. But you also have to be understanding enough to realize that you don't have all the answers. And I mean, the older I get, the less more confused I get. So I don't know. But the thing is, right? But the thing is, even in that confusion, there are things I definitely do believe in. And I'll
yeah,
fight for those things. At the same time, I'm a big enough man to acknowledge that the world is bigger than me.
mhm,
And I have to be willing again to be going on the right path. You have to be willing to change your perceptions of what you think the world is. And that doesn't matter who you are,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I subscribe to the detached philosophy as well, but I also realize I'm going to make a shit ton of mistakes, and I've never been afraid of making mistakes, for the simple reason that I think that's the only way you grow. You
Mhm.
learn if you can figure out how to learn from your mistakes and just take those in and see that from an internal perspective, you're really going to change your profile, who you are, and you don't have to chase being right. You don't have to chase any of that. It comes to you because you've opened yourself up enough to be wrong, to listen to other people tell you you're wrong, and make the decision for yourself where you're going to go from there. Like you
Mhm.
said, you can pivot, you can change, or you can stay the course. Sometimes you do stay the course even though you might be wrong, because there's no other alternative that has shown you that there's a right yet,
Yeah.
and so I think you grow from those experiences as well, and I think that's the only way you can truly grow, and to your point about roaming around, the best part for you about roaming around is you're going to have different experiences than even if you've been to that place before. Like you just now talked about how you were experiencing Calgary differently. You know, you're gonna experience things differently being there. It's not gonna be the same that you remember. You may have little things that spark that, but and that is going to grow you. And
Mhm.
so having the experience and the life lessons and not being afraid to fail, I think are keys to your growth in this experience.
I'm gonna add one thing to it. You also can't be afraid to succeed either. And
Yeah, that's true too. There is that. There is the fear of success as much as there is failure.
for some people, that's actually a bigger handicap. And what I
That's
realized, so I had
right.
again, one of those little epiphanies about failure and success. What the fear of failure and the fear of success actually are is the fear of change.
Yeah,
When you fear failure, you fear that all your efforts are going to be for naught, that nothing will change. Now that's not true, but that is what you fear. And if you fear success, you're not sure where that success will lead you.
yeah,
And the thing is, we've all fallen off the bicycle. We've all slipped on the ice. We've all made like we know what that looks like.
yeah,
How many of us know what it's like to fly?
yeah. Or
Right?
to never fall off your bicycle again, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like when you look at really successful people, this is what they're dealing with. That surreal
yeah,
moment of all these things coming to you that you never imagined.
yeah,
And you're like, how? And then again, it can freeze you.
yeah,
But you have to be, again, but it's a change. You're going to become a different person.
yeah.
And that's a good thing ultimately.
It
But
can be, yeah,
well, that like I said, this is why you can't this is why comfort needs to be burned to the ground, like, as much as you seriously, it
yeah.
does. I
No,
That's my
you're
it
right.
right, because it's the only way. Uh, a buddy of mine by the name of Tim Chismar said this in one of my, I was on Spilling Ink. There's your comfort zone, and there's where the magic happens, and that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. You know, I've decided that I'm too old for comfort, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to put myself into as many different uncomfortable situations as I can, and I'm going to see what comes of it.
yeah.
Like I'm gonna be like this wild, crazy, middle aged, and not like dude just doing random stuff, and people be looking at me like, "What is this?" Like, I'm like,
Hey,
"What?"
there's weirder ways to make a living and make a life, so
Oh
there's a
yeah, no,
you know, I think
I
I ultimately think the weirder way is to stay in the same place at the same time for so long, but, I mean, I can't I'm not one to talk, I've been here 20 years, but I've done different things, and I've experienced different things, and I've gone out and explored, but, and I've given other things a try and done other opportunities, but, uh you can't wait for that either. You can't sit here
no,
and wait for it to happen. You've got to make it happen. And it's the thing I'm struggling with actually a lot right now, because I'm in this kind of weird spot where I'm kind of like in between, you know, comfort and uncomfortable, and which is, I know that's kind of a weird
no.
analogy, but but there's a little bit of comfort to a little bit of uncomfort, but uh I'm trying to figure out how to, I don't know, just
What do you
be adventurous again, and be adventurous with, and I don't think maybe they're just not universally hand in hand, but be adventurous with a little bit more of knowing what that means, if that makes sense. Because when I was adventurous as a young person, I didn't have any tethers. I didn't have anything that was holding me. I didn't have, and I don't really now either, but I've experienced things and I understand the world, I think, a little bit better. I think I would hope a little bit better than I did back then. Yeah, right. I would hope. So there's that. It's a terrible word, but like cautious optimism kind of idea, right? So there's just there's a little bit. I'm kind of like that. I'm like that with my writing right now too. I'm like kind of like in this hybrid mode where do I plan? Do I plot? Do I pants? Can I do a little bit of both? And I'm kind of figuring out that
S-
happy medium.
So, see, I don't know if there's actually is a happy medium, and that's the
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, you wait
but
for that, you may die before that happens.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So,
or you might figure out the day, then the cruel joke is you figure it out and then you're gone. And it's that
well,
Alanis Morissette song. You win the lottery and the very next day.
yeah, well, you know what? But I mean, there's something to be said about that too. There's a
Right?
lesson in
Yeah.
there's a
It's I
profound
mean,
lesson in that.
yeah.
What I would say to you. All right, I'm gonna ask you the most serious question I think I've ever asked you on this show. Joe Compton, what do you want?
What do I want?
Mhm.
I think what I want is to be totally free. That's what I want. And I don't
Okay.
feel like that at the moment. I
Okay.
think that's where and I'm not sure, and it's not a failure, it's not a fear of success in that respect. That's not
No.
what I'm talking about. That's not the fear, that's not the freedom I'm talking about. I'm just talking about where I fully accept whatever is. That's to me, that's the freedom that I'm missing right
Wait,
now.
wait,
And
wait,
I'm
wait,
getting
wait.
there. And little by little I'm getting there. It's not I'm working toward that.
Can
But
you elaborate on that a little bit? I'm trying to understand, like,
sure.
what is it like making peace with the way the world is? Is it
No, no, no,
no, no,
no. The world
no.
has nothing to do with it. This is all me. This is all
No.
internal. This is not
Okay.
I mean, the world has something to do with it because I live in it, right? But
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
occupy it, and I'm in this human experience, and I'm in it. So yeah,
Mhm.
but no, the total freedom aspect of what I'm talking about is just never having that doubt. You never have. I mean, the- I always will be curious. I always be curious, but just having the total confidence to never I mean you're never not going to experience imposter syndrome. There's always going to be times when that's going to creep in too, and I mean everybody has bad days and good days, but there's just a certain step that I'm missing where I just don't where I'm not feeling totally like I'm here. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Obviously, I'm having a hard time with it, but there's just this where I'm fully vested in me and feeling like I know what my purpose is, what I'm doing, and it's beyond what I've been doing and who I am now. I know that there's something about I have a certain gift that I've been given, and I'm just not sure how to use it right now because I'm not confident in using it fully. Yeah, does that make a little bit more sense? Is that a little bit clearer? Um, uh, I don't know. That's the best way I think I can describe it. Is like I know I actually kind of know my purpose a little bit. Like I feel like I do. I feel like I'm very very confident in what I'm supposed to be experiencing in this life, but I also don't know that I'm fully trusting of it just yet. And so that shows a lot in some of the decisions I make. And I'm making a lot of mistakes because of it, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. They're my mistakes. I own them. And like I said, I learn from them. And that's what part of this is. I'm growing. But I'm into a point in my life where I'm on the second half of my life now. I'm on the journey, I turned 50 in December. And so I'm turning that corner. I'm getting to the top of the hill where I'm going to look down and start walking down the bottom of the hill. And so, and I know that's really whatever, but I mean, the hill I could be falling off a cliff tomorrow. What I get it, but I also am trying to do this in the way that I feel comfortable doing it, and so that's step by step learning and taking my time. I'm not in a hurry to do this. And I think that probably frustrates a lot of people listening to this, and they're probably already frustrated by me explaining this. But but I don't. Again, I honestly don't care. I'm trying to be what I am. So, and working toward that is very different for me. Like, I've always put other people in front of me, and that's where I'm at. So, oh, am I frozen or are you? I don't hear you. No. Mhm. No, I mean, I know what you're saying, but I can't hear it. It's not audible. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Just Joshing. I'm Joe Compton. Bear with us as we. No, no. As we have technical difficulties here. Um, I will be your interpreter for Josh Pantelleresco right now. And now he's completely frozen. And now he's gone. Welcome, everybody. It's very nice to have you here. Uh, I appreciate you sitting through my incoherent rambling for a moment to invested interest in whatever we're talking about now, which is me. So, yeah.
Hi. Did that?
There you go. Yeah. Oh, now you went out. You were there for a second. Well, you're muted now. No, no, I don't hear you. I mean, I know what you're saying. I can see it, but I can't hear you at all. Well, I'll take this opportunity while I'm here by myself to plug Go Indie Now, which is what I do. It's our online network for independent artists. We talk about independent artist issues. We uh, preview and give you great insight into indie artists everywhere and everything. Well, I mean, I see you waving. No, no, no. You might try taking out your headphones. I don't know if you can't hear me at that point, but it might be the headphones. We're pantomiming this show now, everybody. This is yeah. So come
Can you
join us.
hear me?
Yes,
Can
I
you
can
hear?
hear you. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. I'm gonna put my camera on. I'm gonna try to put my camera on anyway. Can you hear me?
I still can. So far, so
Okay, so
good.
I had 2 questions. As well. My camera just for whatever reason is. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But anyways, I so my 2 questions is this. I think
Yes.
this is what I think. I think you had to cut. I faced my mortality at a young age.
Yeah.
I faced my mortality at a young age. So it kind of changed things in perspective for me.
Yeah.
That said, I do know when I hit 50, I'm gonna probably have another look at my mortality, honestly, again.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, chances are I'll be like that's not that far away from me either. It's like 9 years away, and I'll be an old man, probably with some hair, little less hair, and probably some other things missing. Maybe I'll have a wife and kid by that point. Who knows? But
You
what I will say is, I'm going to be looking at my life a little bit more so like soberly in the sense that I don't know how much time I have left.
right.
Right. And now I kind of have that mentality to some degree now. That's why I'm very urgent with what I do.
Yeah.
But I would add this is the first question. Has the fact that you've looked at the abyss made you hesitate to go down that hill? That's being honest. Like I
Yeah.
like there's an honest
No, no,
like
I didn't mean to chuckle. It just was funny the way you said it.
well, it's
Sorry.
true. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like one day, like there's this joke. Like when you're young, you do all your stupid shit. And when you get older, it's like, oh, I better find God now because I gotta make right with God because
Yeah.
I don't wanna go to the other. It's an old Catholic joke, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of people right there, but the reality of the situation is people when they hit a certain age, they realize that they've been on this planet for a long time,
Yeah.
and you're kind of at that I'm playing with house money kind of thing,
You
right?
know, it's kind of the opposite, Josh. It's kind of
Really?
the opposite for me. For a good period of my life between I'd have to say between actually probably since the first time I ever discovered that you die, which was I was like 8 or 9, I think. Had it always worried me. You can like I was having conversations at 9 years old with my parents about, but I could die, and they're like, "You're gonna live a long time. Shut the fuck up." You know what are you- you're 9 years old. You've got a long time before you have to think about that. Stop thinking about it. So I was always thinking about that, and then I had a conversation with a friend of mine who kind of opened my eyes to how I believe now and who I am. And when that happened, there was a shift that happened, and it changed everything for me. It just was like, you know, you hate to say it's like, what do they call that? Born again or whatever. That wasn't the case, but it was like all of a sudden the veil was like I took the pill, I took the blue pill, right, or the red pill. Is it the red pill? I don't
Red,
remember.
it's the red
Red.
pill.
Yeah, I took the red pill, and then all of a sudden the matrix was very visible to me,
Yep.
right? And so but I still played with that doubt for a long time, and I've had several conversations, and I really went into a theological study of everything, and that's one I was talking about earlier. I've had conversations with heavy duty theology, people high up. I won't tell you, who I've talked to, but I've talked to some really heavy hitters that people would like. If I said their name, you'd know who they are, kind of people. And I've had conversations with them, and they were so giving to listen to me and be honest and be open about who they are to me. And that was very impressive to me about that. But it didn't change how I felt or what I believed. But it was at least it was nice. It was comforting to have those conversations. But I look at this as like the time to play. This is my glory time. Like I
Yeah.
think I was trapped in a loveless marriage for it wasn't loveless at the beginning, but it became loveless, and it was tough to deal with, and I didn't deal with it correctly, and I'm as much to blame as she is, and maybe even more so because I wasn't fair, because I wasn't honest about it, in a lot of respects,
Mhm.
and so right now I'm looking at that hillside going, okay, I can sprint down this hill for a while, and I'll not lose my breath. I have a confidence about that aspect that I didn't
Good,
have 20 years ago. So it's
good.
a little different in that respect. I don't know if it's societal chains that are holding me back from in that respect either. I don't know the answer to that question. That's what I'm working on trying to figure out.
I okay, so I'll ask the second question then,
Mhm.
just because this might no, it might jar something.
Okay.
Are you afraid of who you might become?
I don't know if I'm afraid of it as much as I'm afraid of how people. Well, I'm not even afraid of that because I really don't care, honestly. Because once you get to a point, you don't care.
I'm
But
there now, hooray!
yeah, I I don't know how to explain it. I'm not afraid of it
It's not
as much
necessarily
as I am maybe weary of it because it it's that old Spider-Man adage with great power comes great responsibility, right? And that
Mhm,
is kind of and that might sound arrogant to a lot of people, but it is very true. I think there is once you discover your purpose and who you are and what you're trying to do, there's there's something about knowing that and being confident enough to engage in that respect that it can come off as arrogant to some people who aren't in that frame of mind. And I'm not trying to change anybody else's perspective. I'm living my life
yeah,
and
yeah.
my experience, but my purpose goes along with what I'm kind of doing now and opening eyes to other people and other things. And that's
Mhm,
kind of so I feel like I just don't know how to hold this power yet. I
okay.
think I'm learning my powers. If we're gonna put it in like comic, you know, because you and I are great admirers of pro wrestling. I'm the guy who stumbled upon something that got over, and I just don't know how to maintain that or shift yet. I'm at where Chris Jericho was probably early on just after that period of time when he was an undisputed champion and then he got to Shawn Michaels, right? That in between times where he actually walked away from it because he was disgusted and he couldn't figure out how to maintain it and people were getting tired of his act, right? So he walked away from it and I'm kind of in that period right now, I think. And I'm not disgusted or I'm
No,
not walking away from anything, but maybe I should. I'm thinking about a couple things I should walk away from. You know what I mean? Or get
yeah.
back into and reinvent myself, in a way. And that's kind of where I'm balancing right now. And so I don't know if I'm afraid of that, what that makes me at that
It
point, but
it
I'm not sure what it is a little bit too. So, I'm not sure how powerful it will be.
there's no going back, is there? If you
No,
do this, there's no
no,
going back.
no, absolutely not. No, absolutely
That
not.
might be it, though. That might be part of it too. I
It might
mean, yeah,
be.
I
It
mean, I
might be.
mean, I
There might be a little bit of comfort I'm holding on to in
well,
that.
it's not. I don't think it's necessarily the comfort. Okay, this is where it might not be the comfort. It's also just sometimes it's really like this. Do you want to do something? Like, do you really want this?
Right.
Right? Sometimes. So a fun story. I decided I was going to go to church, and I was going to. This was back in my like early teens.
Mhm.
So on the way to the church, going to this church, this really pretty girl starts hitting on me. Just starts hitting on me.
Mm.
And deep down, I'm just looking like I know this right off the bat. This is a little test. Are you sure? Life has this really fun like thing sometimes, right? Before it gives you whatever it is you want, it asks the question, do you really want this? And
Yeah.
it's not one of those, um,
I
it's
relate to
not
this so heavily. I can
yeah,
I can
no, no,
add
that
I can add a story of my own to this. Yes.
yeah, 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 but see, because it's not fear. It's
No.
also the reality of the situation that this is going to change everything. And what
Yeah.
it's going to do is it's going to separate you from some of these things you think are important to you right now.
Yeah.
It's going to do that. Now, on the
Yeah.
flip side, what you get for it, you're going to get something new and different and wonderful.
Yeah.
But okay, I mean, there's this other aspect, and this is just for all of us in this life. I'll give you another example. Right before I came back to Arizona, okay,
Yeah.
from Arizona to Calgary, the first time I came back when I was all busted, all sick. So about 2 days before I left, one of my she's still one of my friends to this day, but we had a bit of a crush on each other. It was just something we never really fully explored. She was married, and that was part of the reason why. I
Yeah.
had an opportunity right then and right there, if I had really wanted to
To
explore
change the
that.
course. Yeah.
Right. I had that opportunity, and
Yeah.
there was a voice in my head, Is this what you want?" This and here's the thing, I think a lot of people think that, when you look at these decisions in your life, that there's, like, this evil, ominous force. If there is in your decision, you probably should listen to that.
Yeah.
That's only happened to me twice, and I was grateful both times I listened to that voice.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's much quieter. It's
Yeah.
like, "Is this what you want?" And it's
Yeah.
not even like it's not negative, it's not positive, um, it's a question.
Yeah.
We have a lot more agency in our we there's a lot we don't control, but in
Yeah.
the moments we do control things, we make decisions,
Yeah.
and those decisions change us for good or for bad.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily they're a crime, but they're
No.
not but it is again, and these are very, like, small personal
Again, it's
decisions.
it's experiencing something to learn from it. Even if it's a
Re
mistake, you're gonna learn from it, and
oh,
you were meant to make that mistake. The decision
sometimes,
the
sometimes.
decision you make ultimately changes the course of everything going forward for you. So, in some respects, you have to say that was the way it was going to be. You may have gotten there differently, but you will probably have another opportunity when you if you had made the opposite decision. The opportunity to make a decision to right that opposite decision will come up for you, and then you would think to yourself, most rational people would, that, well, if I made the opposite decision, maybe I should, the George Costanza theory. If everything I ever thought was wrong, then the opposite must be right, right? So I'm going to do the opposite,
Oh,
and it doesn't, and then it just goes right back to where it was actually meant to go to.
oh, yeah.
Anyway, you would have gotten there either way. But the lesson you learn is the most valuable part of that aspect of that journey.
Well, the second decision, because I had made a more poorer choice, right, um, the first time. But
Yeah.
I also think, honestly, with that one, I understanding it's a big it it was good it happened because I understood both my parents better, both
Mm,
of them better going through it. And it humanized a lot of things, and I
mhm,
think I understood some things I never did before,
mhm.
and I don't like I said, the one thing I'll never really criticize anybody for, because I can't, is cheating. Because I've definitely made some mistakes there. But, what I've learned from that is, how much hurt it can do. The
Yeah,
the repercussions last far longer than you realize, and it's something that you gotta so the first time, I kinda just knew it was gonna happen. It was one of
yeah,
those things I don't that one was not a battle I was gonna win. I just
yeah,
that was the first time. The second time, that was a battle I knew better. I think it was one of those things like, "Are you sure you know this lesson?" Right? And I say it like that just because and again, this is me being very, very honest,
yeah,
right? Yeah, right? you learn from these things.
Yeah.
The first time I learned a lot. Second time, now if I had gone back and done it again, now that all said, folks, there have been mistakes I've made. I've done again and again and again, and I question my sanity a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're not. No one's perfect.
Yeah.
What I will say though is I can always look at like, and I'm using my mistakes, not my opportunities, but my mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you.
Because
I've heard.
I think it's much more people can relate to mistakes
Yeah.
a lot easier. But it sounds to me like what you're actually at is this is about what you want going forward,
Yeah.
honestly. And who do you want to be?
Yeah.
And you kind of know where this path goes.
Yeah.
So the question then is, do you want to walk the path? Because here's the other thing, Joe. Here's the other thing, all right?
Yeah.
You don't have as much time as you think to make that decision
Yeah.
either. There's going to come a point where it's either shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that we're having this conversation right now means it's going to be sooner than later. You're going to have to
Yeah.
make that decision now.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
but
a it's yeah, it's one I've wrestled with for the better part of a year. So yeah.
I
It's
get the feel. I get the feeling it's coming up.
yeah.
So whatever you decide, Joe, on this, and I think this may be maybe something you need to hear. There isn't a wrong decision.
No, I
There
understand.
isn't. There isn't. Be honest with yourself. If you say no, be honest with yourself
Yeah.
about why you said no.
Yeah.
If you say yes, be honest with yourself about why you say yes.
Yeah.
There's no wrong. There's very few. I honestly truly believe this. There's very few wrong choices in this life.
Yeah.
But the biggest mistake most of us make is we lack the self-awareness to look at our actions honestly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Absolutely.
That's our biggest mistake. We always serve a want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what decisions we make. We always serve a want. This is why I know for a fact that I can call myself the dog that chases cars sometimes because I'm just going to do what I damn well please. I'm honest about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I understand the wants I'm serving. I'm not deluding myself. I'm willing
Yeah.
to face whatever consequences come my way.
Yeah.
And that honesty sets me free. That decision now isn't wrong. There are just, am I willing to pay that price? And
Yeah.
that's what I think this is. This is about you're gonna have to pay a price either way.
Yeah.
So what do you want to pay? And whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's fine. You don't need to, again, and this isn't even specifics. This is
Yeah.
just
Yeah. No.
right.
No.
You know,
No, you're right. It makes a lot of sense. It does. I mean, and ultimately, whatever decision I make, I live with. It may be it may not be my final decision.
no,
And I'm kind of approaching it like it is. And maybe I need to just give myself a break on that a
uh,
little bit too.
okay. I don't. Again, this is really without. Okay, this I'm going to play a little devil's advocate on this. You might be
Yeah.
right thinking this way because there is something to be said about the opportunity in the moment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There is something to be said about that,
Yeah.
right? You might not get this exact same opportunity again.
Yeah.
Now, that's the thing. You may not get this. Something else might come along. That's
Right.
the other thing. Something else may come along that feels better for you. That is the other part of this as well. But this particular opportunity, whatever this is, probably does have a shelf life. I think you're right to assume that. It's not your only opportunity in all
Right.
likelihood though.
Yeah.
And that's the important.
And that's where yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm constantly grateful and blessed because I have wasted times and opportunities and not gone after it. And then there's also been times when I've gone after it and it hasn't worked out the way I thought it would either. And again, I feel blessed and grateful for that because those are life lessons that I carry with me and I understand and I look at and go, okay, I've dissected why and now I move forward. And so I I do know that what you're saying is right, that there is a shelf life to this. and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And it just makes me wonder how many more opportunities would I get if I made a different decision. You know what I mean? That's where I'm kind of weighing it at. But I'm working towards. The other thing is, like you said, I don't have as much time as I think, but I have enough time in my own timeline to do what I want to do, and the way I want to do it. And
Mhm.
so, because it's mine, it's nobody else's. And no matter if that ends tonight or goes on for another 60 years or whatever, you know, that is not the linear timeline I'm talking about. That's not it's I'm not talking about a linear time. What I'm talking about is knowing myself and how to step toward that in the pace that I'm comfortable with stepping toward that. And that's the time I'm talking about. Taking the time to do everything, be that hybrid person. As much as I'm a hybrid author now, I'd like to be a hybrid person a little bit more.
Mhm.
And maybe I need to let the pantser side of me show a little bit more. Maybe I need to let the plotter side of me show a little bit more, you know? And that's what I'm learning. I'm learning that balance, and that's where I'm at right now. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Can I give you maybe the last piece of advice on this before we move on? Because
Sure,
I think
yeah.
there's one last thing maybe that needs to be said. Don't worry about the opportunities beyond this. Don't. It's pointless. You don't know what they are, and they're really, quite frankly, it doesn't matter right this minute.
You're right,
What
but
right, it doesn't. Like, what you need to consider is just be honest. Whatever decision this is, like, again, I haven't even got details, none of that shit, because I figured that's your business, and you'll tell me if you tell me, or you won't. I made a decision that I'm going to disappear from Calgary at the end of the summer. I don't have to. I could
yeah,
stay. I
yeah,
could develop a new life and other things, and I could.
yeah,
I don't want to. And the reason I don't want to is because I the things that I didn't necessarily care for Calgary in the long term for are still here.
yeah,
And I don't want to live with those things
yeah,
anymore, right? And this is me with a
yeah,
very honest gut check. Now again, I don't hate the city. That's not what I'm
yeah,
saying. I'm just saying that what I'm looking for is simply not here. And it's incumbent upon me. If what I truly want is out there. I truly believe that. So it's incumbent upon me then to go find it,
yeah,
right? That is the decision I made. And as you see, it's a very honest one,
yeah,
right? It's a very honest one. I'm not hiding or BSing myself. I'm not saying that one is. And if I had to go the other way, well, I want to stay here. I want to get a real job. I want to do it. Like I couldn't do a real job again. Fuck that. But the idea,
right. If you
right?
wanted to turn what you're doing now into something more than what it is, that idea, that's the more of the real job that you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it, right? But what I'm saying is I'm clear. Like when I leave again, I also know this: I never come back here
Yeah.
like I did again. Like this is it. If
There's a
I leave it,
part there's a little part of me that I have some hanging ons of that too as well. And I don't know if I'm not ready to say goodbye, or if it's I don't want them to feel like I am saying goodbye, but I really am. You know
but
what I mean?
but okay. So do it like Dr. Seuss would do it. I'm sorry it's over. I'm happy it happened. Just to, just say it. Just go with the I'm happy it happened, man.
Yeah,
Look. Here's the thing.
because I care about people.
Sure, I do too.
You know,
I get it.
yeah.
But this isn't.
And I'm not saying you don't. Didn't mean to imply
No, no,
that.
no, no. I know. But I'm saying it like that because I'm again. This is about you.
Yeah,
This isn't
yeah.
about them.
And it's
This is
about
about
time I make it about me.
yeah. It's about you.
Yeah,
And again, I'm saying it's about knowing what the opportunity is.
Yeah.
I don't need to, and honestly, I don't really need to know right now. What needs to be said is this: if it's truly what you want, my friend, go for it. Go all in.
Yeah.
If it's not what you truly want, then walk away and don't worry. Other things will come your way. They
Yeah.
may not be what you expect, but they will come.
Yeah.
So that's how the world works. Like I this is the thing again, I learned that, like, I don't wait for anybody anymore.
Mhm.
I was supposed to do another show today, and it didn't happen. Now, I'm not gonna go into what they said, but the interpretation of what they said to me was really simple. They didn't really wanna do this, right? And that right? And that's just my interpretation. I could be wrong. I don't know all the details, but the word choices just made
Mhm.
me think, "You're not serious. You're
Yeah.
just not, and I don't have time for you."
Yeah.
Right? I actually the biggest piece of advice I gave that person before I walked away is like, "Look, if you got other priorities, simply say no."
Yeah.
I understand that a lot better than just say yes.
Yeah.
Shit does happen, but you kills your credibility, and I wish them well
Yeah.
because right, I pretty much made the decision right then, right there. You're not serious, and I'm just gonna go, "Sheek,"
Yep.
gone. That's
Yeah.
it, and that's it. I don't I care about them.
Yeah.
I still do. But the reality is, and they are listening, this is just the truth. You're either all in or you're all out.
Yeah.
And I do not have time for you to get your shit together to go all in. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna play that way
Yeah.
anymore with anybody. Are you in or are you out? And I don't have time for you. And if
Yeah.
you're like, "Well, gee, I don't go, gee, out," I'm not interested in you wait. And again, that might sound ruthless, that might sound cold, but I don't have time. No one
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
right? No one does has time for that. And
Yeah.
and this is something that that's why there is as little urgency in your decision. There is
Yeah.
because whomever's giving you this opportunity does not have time to wait either,
Yeah.
right? Not forever. So they might give you again. Right? So whatever's giving you this is going to move on eventually.
Mm.
So if you're GI, then maybe that's telling you something. But if you're like, I'm going for this, motherfucker, I want this, then what the fuck are you waiting for? Just do it.
Yeah.
Right? But the again, it's cut, dry, it's honest. But either way, and that's it. This is about you. This is about
Yeah.
who you want to be. This isn't about anybody else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And honestly, if, for example, I'm not gonna like this is a hypothetical. I don't know. If you said, "I need to walk away from Go Indie now," right? Let's just say that was what you did. Are you there, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, you say, all
I'm
right.
listening. Sorry.
You have Vanessa, you have JD, you have Madeline, you have lots of people that you have personally trained, whether they realize it or not, to do things in your stead if that needed to be. If you decided out like it wasn't enough for you anymore. I'm not saying that's the case, but this is
Yeah.
just like the biggest example of what I'm
Yeah.
I don't think
It's
that's
what you.
actually
Yeah. Yeah.
that right. I'm deciding that after 1,000 and mystery mark, that this show as is done. It's gonna change into something a little bit different. Back
Yeah.
to kind of the old, but also a little bit something new and
Yeah.
different, and it's about because for me, my theme is adventure and connection, and the theme song is "Carry On Wayward Son" by Kansas, and I'm just gonna have a blast. So and that's what I want. I want to be that person for a little while. Now, somewhere along the way, I'm gonna find what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna say I wanna be a different person. But when that again, that's who I want to be. And
And let's
walking
be
away
candid, Josh. Your version of "Carry On Wayward Son" is the Guar version, not the Kansas version.
yes.
The one where, like, halfway through, he doesn't know the lyrics. He just goes blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
But it don't matter. The song's still
Yeah,
the
no,
being
it's
sung,
still
right?
yeah,
Right? But
yeah,
but the point is,
yeah,
that's it, my friend. Like, that's it.
yeah. No,
This
you're
is
right,
about
and eh, just to just just to be a little not I'm being vague and transparent and not too transparent about it, but the opportunity is more internal than it is like an external like
Sure.
trophy, you know. So that's the
Oh,
difference.
oh,
So
okay. So I don't know how biblical you are, but one of my favorite Bible quotes is "Many are called and few are chosen."
yeah,
I actually think the real one is "Many are called but few choose."
yeah,
Right?
it's very true.
And right, few choose,
Yeah,
and it's if you're being called again, I don't think we've ever really discussed your faith or lack thereof or whatever the answer is there.
right.
But if you feel called by something to do something, I like right, then right again, it's reaching out because there's something there that's valuable,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And whatever that is, if it's something you truly believe in, it's okay to like again embrace it if that's what you want to do.
It's the connection to all of the little tethers that I've created, and that's the thing, right? So, but I know that, or I feel like shouldn't say I know because who knows, but I feel like if I get it right, it connects everything else, and that's where I'm at. And so I'm Luke Skywalker, knowing that I have one shot to blast the Death Star into oblivion, and I got to get it perfectly into that little hole. I got to get my laser cannon perfectly into that little hole. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. And it's okay if it doesn't happen. Somebody else will come along and get it perfectly in the hole. But there's a little part of me that's selfish and wants it to be me. So
So then you should listen. Then you should listen to Obi-Wan Kenobi in that moment. Let the
use
instruments
the
go.
force.
Use the Force.
You let it go and use the
Just
force.
let it go and let it happen. That
Yeah.
I mean, that's that. Like look.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. That's what I
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's fine.
that's where I'm headed, and that's exactly what I'm doing. It's just I have a little bit more control than that, and so, but because I just can't because I'm a human being and or I'm living a human being experience, and in doing that, you live the full experience. You do everything stupid that human beings do, and I am doing some stupid things, but not stupid things that hurt me, just stupid things that hinder me and stop me. And I just got to stop doing that. And I got to figure out how to do that. And that's where I'm at.
Hmm, that's a different conversation. Let's. Do you want to delve into that a little
Sure.
bit?
Sure.
So, have you ever? So we all have flaws, right?
Yeah.
We all do, and Lord knows I got plenty of them. I swear like a sailor.
As do I.
Yes, I swear like a sailor. In different languages, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't always have the best answers to like again, I'm not perfect with certainly not perfect with my money. I am certainly looking at things honestly. I am going, you know what, in terms of the grand scheme of things about what I should have to be secure in something, I got fuck all. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I'm
Yeah.
at in my life right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's necessarily the right answer for me at this point in the game. But on the other hand, I have a free. But
Does
the
that
thing is,
matter? Does it really matter if it's right?
well, that's where I'm getting to. Right? Is there's a flip side to those things,
Yeah.
and that is this. The flip side is okay. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that your big flaw is you do what they do in grandma's bar. You have a thing for Filipino hookers, right? Right. Let's say it's just a habit you
Right.
can't break, right? That quality or that flaw, which you probably should correct if that is the case, right? Is but the thing is, there's a give and take. It's that desire for connection you're looking for,
Yeah.
right? And it's just not being necessarily expressed in the healthiest of ways at that moment. But that's right. But again, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't.
No, I get
we went from spirituality to Filipino hookers. I am a
you.
terrible human
Yeah,
being, but anyways, it's
that
neither here
that's a
nor
good
there.
this is a good Josh episode.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, our flaws are often some of the reasons our voices, our actions, our this show wouldn't be what it is without me. And I
Yeah.
don't say that in like an egotistical way. It's my
No. Yeah,
personality, what I bring to the table,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
That's the good and the bad,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, now some, and this is the other thing too. I am old enough to realize that I changing for me is more difficult now than it would be in my 20s and 30s, right? It'd be more difficult. Not impossible, but it's more difficult. And the thing is, there's also this other little warring little part of myself, and this terrifies me because I got there a little quicker than my dad did. So at 50, I'm going to be probably this holy terror. I don't give a sh- I don't necessarily give a shit about my flaws.
Yeah.
Right? There's a part of you that doesn't necessarily want to fix those things anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a part of you that just doesn't want
Love me
to.
for who I am, right?
That's right. That's right. Never mind the fact that we still need to change, no matter how old we get.
Yeah.
No matter how old we get. But the fact of the matter is, and I think this is also just perfectly part of the human condition too.
Yeah.
There's gonna be parts to me like, hey, listen, I like this stupid shit I do. I'm not going to change this stupid shit I do.
Yeah.
Right? Then again, the obvious danger to that is eventually everything must change. But again, it's about what you can do. And if you're having that little discussion in war, not all of your, and this is the thing, not all of your flaws are going to change.
No,
Dare
they're
I
not.
say, they shouldn't either. Right? They just
Right.
shouldn't. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to do all kinds of fuck ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Right,
Absolutely.
right. So now hopefully they're not the exact same fuck ups. Again,
Yeah.
there's a little
They're not
there's a little
they're not the Filipino hooker fuck up, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
but
right. That's
yeah.
why I use that example because it's stupid. Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you it's about making peace with yourself. You have to make peace with
Yeah.
yourself. The good and the bad.
And that's where I'm at. That is look, I just spent 12 years of my life living somebody else's life. And the example you gave earlier is the same example I have in that I made the decision of that. I had doubts. I quelled those doubts with resolve of this is what you're supposed to do. This is who you're supposed to be. Go with it. You're in it now. You have you have a lot of good things going with this. Stay with it and ride it out. You know, there was a moment when I really seriously doubted it. Like that was the moment that I could have changed the trajectory and gotten out. And I had a conversation with my mother who intuitively knows me. Like she'll call me like 3 days before I have a bad day to tell me, you know, just get ready. You're gonna have a bad day. That's my mom. She knows me like no other person. And I had a conversation with her, and she urged me if I don't feel right to get out, and I ignored that urge. I said, "Well, I think it's just cold feet. Everybody gets it." And I kind of rationalized it that way. 12 you Fast forward 12 years later, that's where it led. And so I am piecing me back together because there was a point right before then that I was really free spirited and I was almost there. And I got derailed by some things that I didn't expect to derail me that I was hoping would be the promised land, and they weren't. They turned out to be false gods and false hope, and changed my perspective on a lot of things. And then I settled into the comfort that I got for 12 years. And look, there were some really great things that happened in that time. And there was some really bad things that happened in that time, just like anything else in life. But now I was forced because it came upon me so quickly and unexpectedly during COVID of all times to do that, where everything else was going haywire as well, not just in my life, but everybody's life.
Mhm.
And so I was forced to pivot when I didn't want to pivot because I was getting too comfortable. The universe actually stepped in and said, "No, no, no. This is the time when I'm going to force your hand to pivot." And so now I'm piecing from that. I've been building back up to the person that I was right before I made that decision, and right before I went and made other decisions, right?
Mhm.
And so that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm kind of, but I'm taking my time because I can, you know,
Yeah, no,
regardless of what time I have left. If this was all to end today, I have no regret about how I approached it because
yeah, no,
did it my way. And for the first time in my life, I did it my way and feel comfortable and confident in that. And
and
that's,
and and that's buddy, that's all there is to it, man.
yeah,
That's all there is to it.
really is. It
Yeah,
really is.
like, that's the biggest lesson freelancing taught me. Oh, by the way, I didn't need to tell you the 10th rule. I think we'll end this conversation on rule 10. I think you're gonna like
Okay.
rule 10.
I want to hear the second thing too that you told me was a lot funner than the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah, no, it is, it is. It's the second rule. It is definitely it's who knows? It might even be the what breaks the tie with you. I don't know,
Okay, all right. But
but
continue.
but dude, look. At the end of the day, it's not about what I think. It's not about
Yeah.
again. This is about you,
Yeah.
and you gotta like. I realized something again doing all the things I'm doing. Almost none of it has worked out the way I imagined it would
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Right.
Almost none of it. Right, and one day I wake up and I have my first published illustration. Another day I wake up and I'm interviewing Marissa Mayer. Another day I wake up and I'm in a magazine. Another day I wake up, right? So
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? And then I realized this, right? I've done it my way. And if I were to go tomorrow, right? Again, from a financial standpoint, right. A lot of people be like, he wasted his life. But everyone that actually knows me would
Yeah.
go, he did everything without a fucking regret.
Yeah.
And right, that will be what anyone that knows me will know about me.
Yeah.
The rest, yeah, fuck it. All
Yeah.
right, all right, and that's it. I did it. Your job is not to get the magical results you hope for.
No.
Your job is to do everything in your power that you know to do whatever that task is correctly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is the start and your end of your job. The
Yeah.
rest of it,
And how people, yeah, and how people perceive whether that's success or not matters little to me at all. I mean, I've heard it
right?
all. I've been through it all, and I can tell you that unless you have your own definition of it, nothing else matters. Not what people think is successful. And I mean, I think I think there's a lot of people out there chasing other people's success levels and not realizing that you have your own, and that it may not be being rich, it may not be being beautiful, it may not be this or that, it may be something else that fulfills you, and that's okay to be fulfilled that way. Because that's your fulfillment. Nobody else feels it. You feel it. And I learned that a long time ago.
So one of my favorite creatives is Mark Watson.
Yeah.
Do you want to do you want to know why? It has nothing to
I
do
think
with
you and I have the same reason why, but
yeah, but well, actually, for me, so for me, it's because he's so honest about who his priorities are.
yeah,
That's the thing about Mark.
yeah,
So as a writer, he may never hit the heights, although I do somehow feel the fate is perverse enough
yeah,
to give him that.
The first time I met him, I told him that exact thing. I said, you know what? You're going to be the most successful motherfucker out of all of these people here. I just have a feeling because you
He's gonna
don't
be
care about it as much.
what that it's no, it's not that he doesn't care about that. See
Right,
that?
right,
No,
right.
he does care.
Yeah.
But for him,
It's not his. It is not what drives him. It's not his.
no. And that's the thing. He is an honest okay, so for me, this is the one thing I've learned again doing this show. This is probably one of the biggest lessons. I can make bets in my head who I think is going to make it just based on the conversations I have. Like I said, I had this conversation about the guy didn't show up. The
Yeah.
guy didn't show up. His language told me everything I needed to know. Right now, again, maybe some people would listen to that and think that's not fair. It's like, no, it's quite fair. I heard plenty. I've been doing this a long time. I've heard plenty.
Yeah.
Right. So, this is a very big problem in Canada, but it's not just Canada, it's a worldwide thing. How many people go all in on something? Right? Honestly, go all in. Mark goes all in on his kids, his family. He does. That's the thing about him. The thing I respect, it's not that he doesn't care about writing, not that he doesn't even care about his job. He doesn't honestly give a shit about his job. I mean, he likes his job, I think, but I don't think he loves it.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he's just very honest about the fact that like I'm doing this for them the best way I know how.
Yeah.
And that's what Mark does every single day.
And he loves it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the other thing
yeah,
about it.
yeah. So he is one of the few authors I will never push to go for it with because I know what he wants and he's doing it. So what the fuck does he need me for?
Yeah.
Right? Right?
And
He
what are you
does it.
going to change about that? You're not going to change. The only thing you're going to change is making him more miserable because you keep bugging him about it.
Well, I only. But the thing is, I wouldn't bug him.
He's not even infected by that. That's the
No,
beauty.
no. Like when we've had our talk honestly about it, and when he told me, it's like, yeah, listen, this is what it's about for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can say about that.
Yeah.
He clearly knows what he wants.
Yeah, it was beautiful to hear.
Yeah, he clearly knows what he wants, and and he's honest about it.
Yeah,
so that's all I care about.
Yeah.
When I look at Con Lavery, he's honest too.
Yeah.
So right, Susie Bedori, she's honest too.
Yeah.
Right. And if we look at, but the thing is, like, do you know those people I just named? That's a small list.
Yeah, it is.
That's a very small list.
Yeah.
And because I can look at, now there's other people I could probably add to that list if I thought about it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I can look honestly at everybody else and wonder, and maybe it's not my place to really ask this question, but are you doing all you can to go all in on this if this is what you want?
Right.
Right? And that's, I can't honestly say that about too many other people up here.
Yeah.
But I can about Mark.
Yeah.
I can about Con. Right? I can about Susie. Right? I don't know if I can say that about too many other people up here. And that's telling.
Yeah.
Right? That's telling. Right? So, right? So, and that's the thing. Like, if anybody's listening to this, it's not about the result. As much as I wish I could. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think you can't get ginormous results. I do think it's very possible.
But I think that is the cherry on the sundae aspect of it. It's the thing that just happens with the attrition of what you're doing. You know, the energy you put toward whatever you deem as success then hands you more success.
Yeah.
Success breeds success. And that's where I think people fail. People chase that 15 minutes, they get the 15 minutes, and then they go, what now?
Yeah, exactly.
It's gone. What do I do?
And that's the fear of not recognizing the fear of success. That's part of the fear of success. I interviewed Marissa Mayer last year. And thing is, I said this to her, okay? She has consecutively hit #1 on a New York Times bestselling author. Now, you might say the first time is lucky. Maybe. Not the second, not the third. She works her ass off. And that's me. That's the biggest compliment I give. She works her ass off. She earns it. Jonas Saul, he earns it. right? There are other people I can say that's earned it. And that's the thing. It's not, again, even what I'm doing. Although I feel like where I fall short is I don't advertise my writing enough. I
Yeah.
feel I fall short a little bit on that. But even so, I still do it.
Yeah.
I'm still always putting stuff out there. I'm always going. And it adds up. And then attritions and attritions and attritions.
Hmm.
Right. And it's been so, again, so for me, because I know what my goals are. Now, yeah, I want to make a living doing this. That's a very obvious goal. I've gotten a lot closer, right? Then every year I've done freelancing, I've made more money. So, I mean, eventually I'm going to hit a point where it's going to be, hey, it can sustain me. Now, I
Yeah.
wish it was faster. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
but but
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I'm not worried about it. But what I am
Yeah.
gonna, like, one of my little focuses this year, release more writing projects, not just independently, but also traditionally. I have some traditional goals this year. And
Nice.
also I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter. And if I get 200 backers, I'm doing karaoke night. If I get 500 backers, I do it in a tutu,
Nice.
right? Have fun. Have
Yeah.
fun, right? And having
Yeah.
fun with it. So, yeah, like that's the thing. But
Yeah.
again, I know what I want. That's
Yeah.
that's the one thing I have. Most and I've said this over and over and over again. There's no crime in any decision you make.
Yeah.
None. Be honest about what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to discover. So,
Well, no, and on your case, you will. And like I
yeah,
say,
of course I will.
whatever you do, buddy, honestly, it will work out.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
worried about that.
Oh, I don't think you are.
Yeah.
But yeah. So did I strike the right chord there? Was that the
Yeah.
right chord? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably something I needed to hear. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Okay.
that.
So, okay, let's go beyond embracing your destiny. Like do it in Darth Vader voice. Don't
It is your
embrace your
destiny.
destiny. Right. So,
Join
but
me.
uh,
And together we can rule the
listen.
galaxy.
If you start doing Force lightning, nobody I know. Okay, just saying. But okay,
Can't
seriously.
promise anything.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Because there's probably a couple people I know that piss me off. So
No, it's almost a guarantee.
yeah,
It's
it's
almost a
all
guarantee.
guaranteed. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yep.
There are people that
Of
know.
course. Yeah.
There are people who don't like
Absolutely.
me. There are people who don't like me, Joe. Can you believe that? Can you absolutely believe that? I
No, it,
yeah,
it baffles my mind constantly.
yes. Just okay. So creatively, what are
Yeah.
your goals this year?
Creatively this year, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that question. I will make a film, whether it's a short film or a feature film. I will be making a film, and it's probably most likely a short film because I don't want to fuck up the feature film. I don't want to just do it. I've been there, done that. I want to do that one right. I want to make it right. So, and I know what it takes to do that, and it's patience, which I don't have,
That's the
and
movie
some
industry.
resolve, right?
The movie industry is all about patience. It really
Right,
is. It really
right.
is.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Sometimes you're looking at your exec and like, I could kill you, and
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
make this go faster.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
might get
but
something
the
that
short film is in my control, and I can make that happen pretty easily. I mean, I that takes 2 weekends, and I can get it done. So that is certainly a goal. The other goal is to finish this damn trilogy that has been haunting me for now 8 years, thanks to never having thought of it as a trilogy, and now all of a sudden thinking of it as a trilogy. I have 2 books, I'm looking at the 3rd and getting the first one redone so that can go all flow into 3 books, and there you go. So that is definitely a goal. And um the those are the 2 creative goals I have. For Go Indie now, creatively, I'm getting to I made my goal. Remember, we talked about this probably what March of last year. My goal was to get over 1,000. We did that. I made that goal happen. And it wasn't just me, there was other people involved, but that goal happened. And so I accomplished the goal, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, so but I'm moving head on into the way that I've always seen Go Indie now being, and I'm going for it, even though it may not be ready to go for it. I'm doing it anyway. I'm going all in on this, Josh. So, or as all in as I possibly can. I mean, I probably could push it further, but I am doing it to, so that I don't die tomorrow doing it. So, because I will, if that's what it takes. But uh, I'd like to live a little bit longer. But eh, at least to see the sunshine. I mean, I haven't seen the
Good.
sunshine in 4 days, but you know, um, I am going for that, and we're gonna see how it goes, and then move forward from there, and build on that, and keep building on it, and see if we can get to a point where it sustains itself, or it's sustainable the way that I hope it can be, and I know that it can be. So that's what I'm working towards on all aspects creatively for myself. So
Sounds good.
yeah.
Are you going to be more behind the camera than this year? Are you still stepping a little further away? Or are you happy where you're at on the on Go Indie now?
Yeah, I actually kind of miss being in front of the camera a little bit because I stepped away quite a bit last year. But I realized that you know, I'm better served behind it than I am in front of it in some
Yeah.
respects. So I am I am still maintaining the same kind of distance that I've had before. I am doing certain things because if I don't do them, nobody else will. But and I want those things to be part of what I'm doing, so I'm going to do them. But as far as like it's kind of starting to be where people are starting to come on board and take on things, and I appreciate that. And so I'm happy to let them do whatever they want to do for me, as long as they're happy doing it and I'm not killing them. you know that's not my intention. I'm happy to have any help that I get, and anybody else be involved. I just, I'll wear the burden of letting it kill me. Nobody else has to do that. So
You don't gotta do it either. I realize you got those big arms of steel over there, but you don't need to do that either. Just
yeah, I'm
as it
trying not
gets
to. But look, like you said. Sometimes going all in though means you're going to scrape your knuckles, and you're
Oh,
going
sure.
to
No,
you're
no, no,
going
no.
to feel sore.
Listen. Listen. You gotta put your dukes up and fight sometimes, and
Yeah.
I get that. And listen, you're gonna take your standing 8 counts. You're probably gonna lead with your face a little too much, a little bit
Yeah.
early, and we're gonna pretend whatever your opponent is like Apollo Creed and Rocky, just kicking the crap out of you for the first 10,
Well,
11
yeah,
rounds,
just don't kill
right?
me.
Yeah. That's why I said Apollo Creed, not Ivan Drago, but that's neither here
Yeah,
nor there,
yeah.
right? I say it like that because, like, yeah, no, there are times you have to go the extra mile. I totally
Yeah.
get that. But that time it won't be forever either. So
No.
it'll get
No, I've
bigger.
learned that. I've learned that pretty well. Even when I was doing it by myself and all by myself, which you knew me at that time, I knew that I had to take a break at certain points, and just let things, just for my own sanity and my own peace of mind. I even did so to try and save the unsavable, and it set me back a little bit for doing that, but I had to do that. I
Mm,
think I had to do that. I had to give it a shot because it was what I knew at the time of who I was back.
again, this is the thing. Your job is not, again, this is the wonderful thing about life. We don't have to get it all right. We're not supposed to.
No,
But
yeah,
what we're supposed to do is do the best we can with what we know at the time.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's it. That's it. It's not, again, I make this sound simple. It's not easy, and I know that. But it's like when you break it all down, do you show up every day and do your thing? And do you
Yeah,
do it to everything you got? Because if the answer is yes, what else
yeah,
is there? What else
yeah,
is there? Right?
yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's it. And you knew then what you knew now. So there's two last things, and we'll get you plugging. One of them is the rule, but here's the other thing. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Mr. Joe?
My favorite flavor this actually came up in a conversation I had about a month ago. My favorite flavor of ice cream is 31 Flavors makes this black cherry ice cream, or that is ultimately my all-time favorite, but you can only get it at 31 Flavors. No other place makes it right or does it the same. There's cherry ice creams, there's other sour cherry ice cream, whatever, but it's not the 31 Flavors one. So that I will eat that every day. If there was a 31 Flavors in my bed, I would buy a 31 Flavors if I had enough money to put right behind me and just eat that all day. But if that's not the case, there is one universal ice cream that I like that is available a thousand different ways and different things, and it's always the same, and that's mint chocolate chip. That's
Give me a
I'll
second. Yes. So okay. So here, this is the last uber tough question. If I was to come down and I was to bring Bailey's, would you rather have it in your ice cream or your
no
mint chocolate
mint
chip?
chocolate chip, mint chocolate
So
chip.
so when I go on tour, when, right?
Yes,
Whenever that is, you want me to stop by? You want to eat ice cream and make an ass of yourself on the air?
yes,
Sounds like a plan. Sounds
yes,
like a plan.
and then we'll drive over to 31 Flavors, and I'll show you the cherry ice cream that I'm talking
Sounds fantastic. I'll have an obnoxious fan. I'm debating whether or not to put actually, do you know the ice cream music in the horn?
about.
Debating it. Here's the thing, I could legitimately get shot at if I do
Yes,
that in the
you can.
wrong
In
neighborhood.
the proper neighborhood, in the proper context, yes, you can.
Yes, I can. So that's the thing. All right. So
Even
if
in San Jose, you
no,
can
no,
have
again, people take their ice cream seriously, and I
they do.
understand that. I really,
Yeah.
really do. Listen, if some asshole was putting like an ice cream thing on there, he better have ice cream.
Yep.
Otherwise,
That car at the very least is getting flipped over.
yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah,
very
yeah.
least.
No, shot at. It's not. No,
Y
it's gonna be shot
Yeah.
at, right? And I'm gonna be like, so what did I do wrong? And everyone's like, you messed with our ice cream. We were expecting ice cream. Why did you do this?
Yeah,
So
you misinterpreted what they were looking for.
yeah. I somehow feel if I'm at that point in the conversation, Joe, it's too late for me.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
yeah, it's too late for me.
Yes.
Here's what I will say, and this is the last thing. So you want to hear rule 10?
Yes.
When in doubt, choose the path that's the most fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why
Choose the
not?
path. Why exactly?
Why not?
When in doubt. Again, I don't know what the world's going to look like in 5 years. What I do, I don't expect it's going to be the same world it is today.
No.
Hopefully, it's a better world. Hopefully, everybody knows. This is the thing. I do think there again. No matter what the world looks like, there's going to be good and there's going to be bad. And whatever you might think about who's in power, whatever the case may be, truth of the matter is, 95% of that doesn't affect you one bit.
Nope.
And
Nope.
right,
That's why I made that face.
yeah,
It doesn't matter what the
yeah.
world's gonna be. I'm more excited about what I'm gonna be in that world.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
where that's where it matters to me.
I'm either going to be the really cool rock star. Or I'm going to be a super villain. I'm not sure which. But anyways, we'll let people figure that one out. But what I do know is this. What I do know is this. In the next, so have the freedom. Give yourself the freedom to have fun, my friend.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this. One of the reasons we're doing this interview, folks, is this. There's only 95 of these left after this for sure. That sounds like a lot, but it's not.
God.
It's not. It's gonna come
Not
before you
not when
know it.
you've done 906 of them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there's 905, right? There's
yeah.
905 of them. So yeah, it's not that many.
Mhm.
So all of which to say that there have been people I've interviewed throughout that have impacted my life for the best, or they were some of my favorite conversations. And I have to do this there, buddy. Listen, the show evolved in part because of you as well, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. And even again, I don't know what the future holds for all of us, but I do know is wherever I go, whatever I do, you help put me on the path I'm on. So thank you.
Mm. Vice versa, my friend. I mean, I wouldn't have dared to do a lot of the things I dared to do if we hadn't had conversations about it. And so, you know, I've been in frozen food aisles having long conversations with Joshua Pantelleresco about life and where we're at, and that's awesome. I think there's nothing better than that. And yeah, I do know one thing, Josh. No matter where we're at, even
Mhm.
beyond this, you and I will connect again, and
Sure.
that's what it's all about.
That's right. So what do you want to plug, dude? We got into this properly here. So what the heck do you want to plug?
Sure, we've got going now stuff going on. We're ramping up our new seasons here, and tomorrow night is the news, and then we're doing a show pretty much every day of the week for the next 6 months. So get ready. We're gonna surprise you with some different things. We've got some different things happening. We've got some same things happening. We've got some familiar things happening. Some things you've been waiting for to happen. All of that's gonna happen,
Mhm.
and we're gonna keep going and doing that. And so that's the immediate future. I don't really have anything personal to plug yet because it hasn't happened. But
Where can people
look for
where can
films
people
I'm
find
gonna
you?
do. Look for books I'm gonna write, and look for stories that are gonna be told. And that's what is you
S-
can do that.
So where can people find you then, Mr. Compton? Say, hey, where's that story you promised me?
Yeah, so I'm most prevalent on Facebook most of the time. So if you just want to friend me, Joe Compton, I'm pretty much there. I'm on Twitter a bit, quite a fair bit too. I'm starting to get back into Instagram. I have a love hate relationship with Instagram.
It's okay. It's okay,
Yeah.
but buddy, it's okay. I have a love hate relationship with Facebook actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I have a and that's I'm finding that's kind of a Canadian thing. There's a lot of Canadians I'm finding I'm talking to have not really embraced Facebook as much as as Americans have.
no. Okay, so for me up here,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm still heavy on Twitter. And the reason I'm so heavy on Twitter is because as a member of the media, and then I realized one day I woke up, dear God, I'm actually am media. Holy
Yeah.
fuck. Right. One day, the things you wake up, right?
Yeah.
But Twitter's the best place for journalism on the planet. It
Yeah.
legitimately is. And
Yeah, I
you
agree.
so
That's
if
why
you're
I'm
if
still there.
yeah, it's the no, like again, my Canadian friends hate this little
Mhm.
truth, but you can find stuff on Twitter you cannot find on Facebook. No, I
Yeah.
hate Facebook. This is why I hate this. This is my personal thing. I use the word cracker as in Ritz crackers, and I got a racial warning sent to
Oh,
me.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just
It's a
I
little too policey.
no,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't like Instagram's fun.
Yeah.
Instagram has a little bit of that policey thing to it, but
Well,
it's nowhere near.
if you're well, that's because it's part of Facebook,
Yeah,
but if you're in the film industry, you have to be on Instagram. You have
yep.
to.
And I draw stuff, so I have to be on
That's where
Instagram
all of
too.
them go because they have to be constantly reminded and told that they're pretty. So, you know.
I'm so pretty, oh so pretty, oh so
And that's
pretty.
the instant gratification that most people in the film industry need. So, and
It's
I'm making a pseudo joke, but half
it's
joke.
it's a half joke. It's actually
Yeah.
somewhat true. Listen, you need an ego to perform.
Yeah.
I can
You
respect
do.
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the breeding of success as well, is because you're the only person that believes in you more than anybody else believes in you. So you have to you have to believe in you to have whatever you define success as, because success is not defined as, oh, I hate myself and this that no, because you're still searching for that. And so you have to be confident in who you are. And a lot of times that involves ego. So,
So my favorite promo of all time is still "Cream of the Crop" from Macho Man Randy Savage.
yeah, that's my favorite wrestling promo of all time. We've had this conversation.
Yes, but the thing is, here's the thing, folks. The Macho, again, when I was a kid, I was a Hulk Hogan fan. As an adult, I'm a Macho Man fan because I realized Savage is actually better.
Mm,
But in every category but one. And it was the most important. So I props to Hogan for it. But even so, Savage still was incredibly good at. He believed in himself.
yeah.
That's why he was able. That's why Cream of the Crop. Hey, even Scott Steiner. Okay. To be fair, Steiner Math is my all-time favorite promo. All right, it's my all-time favorite promo.
I have to say, um, I have to say, he's not feeling Usi is maybe right now my favorite promo of all time.
Oh no, it's because it broke. Like you can, yeah, no, yeah,
There's
you can.
something though that captured the thing of what we love about pro wrestling in that promo that I don't think you can't explain it to anybody who
Well,
doesn't understand it. But
I think. See, here's the thing. Sammy, Kevin Owens said this about Sami Zayn in an interview on a podcast. He goes, "Here's the thing about Sammy. When he first shows up anywhere, everybody hates him. No, because of his very particular nature, people hate him.
yeah,
Because over time, he wins everybody over just being who he is.
yeah,
And here's the thing. I've watched quite a few of these Bloodline promos. Even when Jay is supposed to hate him, half the
yeah,
time you will see him going like this,
yeah,
so you don't see him
yeah,
breaking.
yeah,
Because the thing is, there's something really you can tell when people are having genuine fun working with somebody,
yeah.
right? And you can see it, Now, my secret hope, honestly, on that one is that Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble and beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that is such a cool story.
I think they're more headed toward him and Kevin Owens beating the Usos, but that's because I
Oh
think Kevin
no, you know what?
is
And that's fine. But I think Sammy, if you did it right, would be the perfect guy to knock it from him,
of course,
right?
yeah,
Would be the perfect guy to do it. But if you did it right, but the thing about it is, I could tell this. This is something I like. This is something about Roman. This is even Roman too. They genuinely enjoy working with him, and
yeah,
because they that and because you can see that
yeah.
joy. Because when he makes them, he made them all crack. All of
My
them just
my
cracked right
favorite
there.
part of that promo, though, Josh, is the moment when Jay accidentally says, "I don't give a damn about and you see Roman pick up his like it was like perfectly timed. Like you could have not directed that more perfectly.
Oh no, it's a great
And
performance. It's a great performance. But then Sammy, this is the thing. It's so organic. Sammy naturally did something that changed the whole
yeah,
tone of the promo. So
yeah,
he could not be mob boss Roman Reigns anymore. He had to be something a little more
yeah.
because
He
again,
was Uncle Roman at that moment.
he had to be Uncle. He had to be Uncle Roman because Uncle. Two things. One, he wouldn't let Jay escape. No,
But
buddy.
that's the thing about it. We're talking about one promo that did so many different things and changed so much psychology in just how they were going to present what's coming forward there. There is very few promos in this world you can say have ever done that. And
Well, I would say
we
it's
can
more.
probably count them on our hands.
I would play a segment versus a promo, honestly, not like I would call
Right.
that it's one of the best segments. No, it's but again, there was something genuine about it.
Yeah.
That was why it worked. It
Yeah,
worked
that's why
because
Cream of the Crop worked as well, because that was the moment that Macho Man decided he made what the Intercontinental title is right then and there by saying, "Okay, you took it from me. I want it back, but I really don't because that was my stepping stone to the world title, and now I'm coming for you, Hogan." And that's what he says at the end of that promo, and I think that's so poignant because that is the moment that he decided he was going to be champ, and then the next year he was champ,
yes, he
and
was.
I think that 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 is exactly what we've been talking about all night. He went all in at that moment, and that is why that is
It
one of the greatest
it
promos
it
of all time.
it's not the only time he went all in, but I think
But
it's
it's not.
also
No,
no,
but it's
no,
the moment.
but it's the one where he showed so much personality,
Yeah,
and it was just like, okay, and they went with it, and it
yeah.
makes me laugh. Now Steiner Math makes me laugh for a completely different reason. Folks, you gotta look that up, Steiner Math. That all said, it also works because it's genuine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why it works,
absolutely.
and it's
And
like
that's
and
why the other promo I think of the last 5 years has worked is the MJF where he calls Tony's con a mark, you
oh,
know,
no, that pipe bomb
and
go my favorite MJF promo, honestly, is the one where right after, Punk just mocked him for his posters on the wall, and
yeah,
then and MJF comes out and he cuts this really compelling, like,
yeah,
origin story
good
for
promo.
him.
It was good.
You know, it was that great performances, but there was a little bit of what's real there.
Yeah,
And whether MJF realizes this or not, whether like his current heel turn, he's gonna be a great babyface someday. He
yeah.
really is. He has to do that at least
Just like
once.
we all thought that Roman was gonna be a great heel, and he turned out to be just that.
Yeah.
You can
All
see.
right, all right, Mr. Joe. I think we've had a wonderful chat. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Compton. Go to Go Indie now. Watch the shows. I may be there towards the end. The only reason I haven't signed up, I'll be open on this, is because I'm not quite sure how it all is going to align yet.
Yeah,
I want to
I
actually,
get it.
yeah, I
Yeah,
want to actually, be there.
yeah,
Right when I say I'm going to be there, and
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure yet. And
yeah.
when I
Well,
am
whenever
sure,
you
I'll.
find the Starbucks you're most comfortable in, you let me know. We'll have you on.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely. I actually just for you, it'll be Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, it'll be
Okay,
Dunkin'
that's
Donuts.
perfect. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. All right.
That's a much quieter place, by the way. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a wonderful night. Stay
bye, everybody.
inspired. Keep shining in the dark, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks.